Captain Daejung looked at the screen in front of him. The lights were flashing red. His ship, the Stellar Harmony, was broken. The main engine stopped working 3 days ago. Now his ship was floating in space with nowhere to go. His crew was scared. They had food and air, but not for long. Daejung turned to his communications officer. Her name was Hana. She was trying to contact anyone who could help them. Hana, did anyone answer our call for help? He asked. Hana shook her head. No, Captain. No ships from our coalition are close to us. The nearest station is 2 weeks away. We cannot reach it. We are running out of air. The chief engineer walked onto the bridge. His name was Taemin. His hands were dirty with oil. He looked tired. Captain, I tried everything. The quantum drive is completely broken. We need special parts to fix it. We do not have those parts. We do not have the skills to fix it either, Taemin said sadly. Daejung felt worried. His ship used the best technology in the galaxy. It was made by the Vrexians, the smartest builders in the coalition. If even this technology failed, they were in big trouble. Suddenly, Hana spoke up. Wait, I got an answer. Someone heard our call. It is a ship from Earth. Everyone on the bridge became quiet. Earth? The humans were the newest members of the Galactic Coalition. They joined only 20 years ago. Everyone thought human technology was old and slow. Humans were nice people, but nobody thought they were good at building ships or fixing things. Bora, the science officer, looked confused. Captain, what can humans do? Their ships are slow. Their engineers are still learning. It will take them months to reach us, Daejung thought for a moment. They had no other choice. Put them on the screen, he said. A woman appeared on the screen. She had short dark hair and a big smile. She wore a uniform, but it looked comfortable and casual. Hello, I am Commander Yoonji. My ship is called the Prometheus. We heard your call for help. We can see you need help with your engines. Do not worry. We can fix it, she said cheerfully. Commander, thank you for answering. But our problem is very difficult. Our quantum drive is broken. I'm not sure if, Daejung started to say, I understand. Quantum drive problems. We have seen this before. We can reach you in 6 hours. Just wait for us. We will fix everything. Do not worry, Yoonji said happily. Taemin whispered to Daejung. Captain, I do not want to be rude, but Earth ships do not even use quantum drives. How can they fix ours? Daejung did not know either, but he smiled at the screen. Thank you, Commander. We will wait for you. After the call ended, Bora checked her computer. Captain, I looked up information about the Prometheus. It says it is an engineering support ship. It is big, but it should be very slow. According to our records, it cannot travel faster than 0.3 light speed. Hana looked confused. Then how can they reach us in 6 hours? They were 3 light years away when they answered us. Everyone looked at each other. Nobody understood. The math did not make sense. It was impossible. 5.5 hours passed. Then their sensors detected a ship coming toward them. When they saw it on the screen, everyone was shocked. The Prometheus was huge. It was much bigger than the official information said. The outside of the ship was covered with extra metal plates and strange equipment. There were many different antennas sticking out from all sides. Lights of different colors were blinking everywhere. The ship looked like someone built it from many different parts. Captain, Taemin said with wide eyes. They have some kind of special engine. I have never seen anything like it. Those energy readings, they should not be possible with Earth technology. The communication screen turned on again. Commander Yoonji smiled at them. We are here. We will connect our ship to yours. My chief engineer, Taeho, will come to your ship with his team. I must warn you, he will probably bring coffee. Do not ask him about coffee. He will talk about it for hours, she said with a laugh. Bora whispered, Coffee? They are bringing drinks to an emergency? Daejung watched as the human ship moved next to theirs. The connection was perfect. The human ship moved like it was easy, even though it was a difficult thing to do. Soon, the door opened. A group of humans entered the bridge. The chief engineer, Taeho, was a tall man with gray hair. He carried a big metal box in one hand and a cup of hot coffee in the other hand. 6 more engineers followed him. They all looked happy and ready to work. Captain Daejung, I'm Taeho. Do not worry about your ship. We will make it work better than before. Can we see your engine room? He asked. Taemin stepped forward. I will take you there. But I must tell you the damage is very bad. The entire system needs to be replaced. The parts come from Vrexia Prime. Even if we had the parts, it would take many days to fix and many special workers to... Oh, we brought parts with us. a woman engineer named Mi Young said brightly. She touched her equipment box. We make parts as we need them. We have a machine that can make almost anything. You would be surprised what we can make with a good printer and some creative thinking. The human engineers went to the engine room. Daejung looked at his crew. This will be interesting, he said. 3 hours later, Daejung got a call from Taemin. His voice sounded excited and shocked at the same time. Captain, you need to come to the engine room. You need to see this. When Daejung arrived at the engine room, he found Taemin and Taeho standing together. They were looking at a holographic display of the ship's engine. The human engineers were working fast. Their hands moved with confidence. They looked like they had done this many times before. Captain, Taemin said, pointing at the display, they fixed it. But they did more than fix it. They made it better. Taeho drank some coffee. The original design was good. Phyrexian engineering is very solid. But we found some small problems. We made the energy flow better. We added some buffers here and there. We changed the cooling system. Now it can handle about 30% more power. 30% more? Daejung could not believe it. Yes, your ship was going at 8.5 times light speed. Now it can go at 11 times light speed, Mi Young said. She did not look up from her work. We also found some small cracks in your hull. They would have become a big problem in 6 months. We fixed those too. Taemin looked shocked. How did you know about the cracks? Our sensors did not find anything. We brought our own sensors, another engineer named Dongwoo said. He pointed to a strange-looking device. This machine can find problems down to the smallest level. I built it myself. Bora came to the engine room too. She looked at the humans with great interest. Taeho, can I ask you something? How did Earth learn to do all this? Your people only started traveling faster than light 20 years ago, she asked. Taeho smiled. Well, humans are good at taking things apart and putting them back together in new ways. When we joined the coalition, we got to see all this wonderful alien technology. We studied it. We learned from it. Then we got creative. Creative? Taejung asked. We have a saying, Mi Young said with a smile. If something is not broken, do not fix it. But we also say this. If something is not broken, it does not have enough features yet. Before anyone could answer, Commander Yoonji's voice came through the speakers. Captain Daejung, we are watching the space around us. You should know that 3 Krelak Raider ships are coming toward you. They probably heard your distress call. Everyone became serious. The Krelak were space pirates. They were dangerous. They attacked broken ships and stole everything. 3 of their ships would easily destroy the stellar harmony. How long until they arrive? Daejung asked quickly. 15 minutes. But do not worry. We will handle this, Yoonji replied. Commander, the Prometheus is an engineering ship. You cannot fight 3 Krelak raiders, Daejung said urgently. There was a pause. Then Yoonji spoke again. Her voice sounded different now. Captain, we should tell you something. Earth's definition of an engineering ship is a little different from everyone else's. Through the windows, they watched the Prometheus change. Panels on the outside opened. Weapons appeared. The strange antennas moved and became targeting systems. Those are military weapons, Bora said quietly. And those are missiles. Many, many missiles. Taeho finished his coffee. We should go back to our ship. You should go to your bridge. This might get exciting. Exciting? That ship has more weapons than a battleship, Taemin said loudly. Yes, Mi Young said calmly. We like to be ready for trouble. We work in dangerous places. We learned that an engineering ship should be able to defend itself. The human engineers packed their tools and returned to their ship. Daejung and his crew ran to the bridge. The sensors showed 3 Krelak raiders coming fast. Their weapons were charging. Captain, Hana said, the raiders are sending us a message. They want us to surrender the ship and give them all our valuables. The Prometheus moved between the stellar harmony and the raiders. Yoonji's voice came through the speakers again. Attention, Krelak ships. This is Commander Yoonji of Earth. The ship you are approaching is under our protection. I strongly suggest you turn around and leave. The lead raider answered with an angry voice. Earthship, everyone knows you are weak. Move away or we will destroy you too. There was silence. Then Yoonji spoke again. All the cheerfulness was gone from her voice. Well, we tried to warn them. All weapons fire. What happened next would be remembered for many years to come. The Prometheus did not just shoot at the Krelak raiders. It destroyed them with perfect precision. The crew of the Stellar Harmony could only watch in amazement. The first raider barely had time to turn on its shields before the human ship fired. Beams of light shot out from the Prometheus and went right through the shields like they were not even there. The weapons hit exactly the right spots. They destroyed the raiders' engines and weapons, but left the crew area safe. The whole thing took 3 seconds. Did they just disable a Krelak raider in 3 seconds? Bora asked. She stared at her sensor screen with her mouth open. The second raider saw what happened to the first ship. It tried to run away, but it was too late. The Prometheus shot something that looked like a net made of electricity. The net expanded very fast and covered the whole raider ship. All the systems on the raider ship stopped working. The ship went dark and floated in space like a dead thing. The third raider decided to fight. It was either very brave or very stupid. It fired everything it had at the Prometheus. Plasma torpedoes, kinetic bullets, even some old nuclear missiles. Everything was aimed at the human ship. The Prometheus did not even try to move out of the way. A shimmering barrier appeared around the ship. Every weapon that hit the barrier just disappeared. It was like watching rain hit a window. That shield is working at 98% efficiency, Taemin whispered. That is military grade. That is better than military grade. They are showing off, Hana said. They are definitely showing off. The Prometheus answered the third raider's attack with just one missile. Only one. The missile flew across space, moving around debris with impossible skill. It hit the raider's bridge with perfect accuracy. The explosion was controlled. It destroyed only the command center but left the rest of the ship intact. The total time of the battle was 47 seconds. Commander Yoonji's voice came through the speakers. She sounded casual again. Stellar Harmony, all threats are gone. We are sending the location of these ships to Coalition security. They can come pick up the prisoners. Your quantum drive is ready. Do you want to test it? It took Dae-jung a moment to find his voice. Commander, that was incredible. I have never seen anything like that. And I have watched Coalition fleet exercises. Oh, this? Yoonji sounded almost embarrassed. This is normal for engineering corps ships. We work in dangerous areas. We cannot fix ships if we are being shot at. Bora looked at her computer again. Captain, according to Coalition records, this ship is still listed as a non-combat support vessel. That is technically correct, Yoonji said. She was listening to their conversation. We do not look for fights. We just prepare for them. Very thoroughly, with very good weapons. An hour later, Coalition security ships arrived to collect the disabled raiders. Then Dae-jung received a call from Coalition Command. Admiral Jin-soo appeared on the screen. He looked very serious. Captain Dae-jung, we received your report about the battle. We need all your sensor data immediately. The Council is concerned about Earth's military power. Dae-jung looked at his crew before answering. Admiral, with respect, the Earth ships saved us. Their response was appropriate and careful. No Krelak died. All ships were disabled and ready for arrest. Jin-soo's face softened a bit. I am not questioning what they did, Captain. I am questioning what else we do not know about human capabilities. They joined the Coalition as a minor species. Now we find out they have technology that matches our most advanced systems. Perhaps we underestimated them, Dae-jung said carefully. Later, as the Stellar Harmony got ready to test its new engine, Commander Yoonji asked for a private talk with Dae-jung. Her face was more serious than before. Captain, I want to explain something before you go back to Coalition space. Earth did not develop all this in 20 years. We have been preparing for space exploration for a long time. When we finally achieved faster-than-light travel and met the Coalition, we saw how things worked out here. We saw the politics, the territories, the conflicts. So you decided to arm yourselves, Dae-jung said. He was not accusing her. He understood. We decided to be ready, Yoonji corrected him. There is a difference. We do not want to conquer anyone. We do not want to control anything. But we learned long ago that if you want to keep your independence, if you want to protect your people and your friends, you need to be capable. So yes, our engineering ships can defend themselves. Our survey ships can fight if needed. Our science stations have enough firepower to make pirates think twice. She paused and smiled. But we would much rather fix ships, share coffee, and help people. It is just nice to have options. Dae-jung smiled back. Commander, I think the Coalition is going to have many questions about Earth in the coming days. You are going to be very busy. Probably, Yoonji agreed. But first, let us see how your ship works now. Taeho tells me you should feel a big improvement. Try not to smile too much when you tell your superiors about the upgraded specifications. The Stellar Harmony's quantum drive turned on. It was incredibly smooth. Taemin was amazed. The ship jumped into faster-than-light travel with no vibration, no stress. On their sensors, they saw the Prometheus keeping perfect pace with them. The human ship matched their speed like it was nothing. As they traveled, Bo-Ra worked on her report. Captain, I have been analyzing everything we saw. The weapons, the shields, the engine modifications. It is all beyond what we believed Earth could do. But it is not just raw power. It is elegant, efficient. They took coalition technology and improved it in ways our engineers never thought of. They are problem solvers, Daejung said. That is what humans do. Give them a challenge and they will not just solve it. They will find 3 new ways to approach it that nobody thought of before. Hana looked up from her console. Captain, I am receiving a message from Coalition Command. They want us to go to the nearest coalition station for debriefing. Daejung nodded. Send our confirmation. And Hana, send a message to the Prometheus. Thank them for their help and tell them we are being diverted. The answer came quickly from Yoonji. Understood, Stellar Harmony. Safe travels. If you ever need repairs again or upgrades or just someone to share coffee with, you know where to find us. The Engineering Corps is always happy to help. As the Prometheus turned away and headed back to Earth space, Taemin spoke up. Captain, I have a feeling this incident is going to change many things in the Coalition. I have that feeling too, Daejung agreed. He watched the human ship disappear into the stars. I think we are about to learn that humanity has been far more prepared for galactic life than any of us realized. He was right. But even he could not have predicted just how much things were about to change. When the Stellar Harmony arrived at the Coalition station, they were met by a team of investigators. Everyone wanted to know about the human ship. Everyone wanted to see the sensor data. The video of the battle was played over and over. Engineers examined the Stellar Harmony's upgraded quantum drive with amazement. They could not believe what they saw. The modifications were brilliant. The efficiency improvements were incredible. Some of the senior engineers just stood there shaking their heads. This is revolutionary, one Vrexian engineer said. They took our design and made it better. Much better. And they did it in 3 hours. Taemin spent hours explaining what the human engineers had done. He showed them the new components, the improved energy flow, the reinforced hull sections. With each explanation, the Coalition engineers became more impressed and more concerned. If they can do this to one ship in a few hours, a military analyst said, what could they do with their entire fleet? That question spread through the Coalition like wildfire. Within days, every major species was having urgent discussions about Earth. Some were excited about potential cooperation. Others were worried about a new military power. Everyone was surprised. The Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. Representatives from all member species gathered to discuss the situation. Captain Daejung was summoned to testify about what he had witnessed. As Daejung prepared for the council meeting, he thought about everything that had happened. A week ago, he was the captain of a broken ship, helpless and scared. Now he was at the center of what might be the biggest shift in coalition politics in decades, and it all started because humans decided that an engineering ship should be able to defend itself. Bo-Ra approached him before he left for the council. Captain, I finished my full analysis. The Prometheus was holding back. During the battle, it used maybe 20% of its capabilities, maybe less. Daejung looked at her with surprise. Are you sure? Completely sure. The energy signatures suggest they have at least 4 times more weapon systems than they used, and their shield was operating at minimal power. They disabled 3 raiders while barely trying. Daejung felt a chill, so they were showing restraint. Maximum restraint Burful could they be if they wanted to. That thought stayed with Daejung as he traveled to the council chambers. Humanity had surprised everyone. They had hidden their capabilities not through deception, but simply by not advertising them. They had been underestimated, and now the entire galaxy was realizing its mistake. But the real question was what would happen next. Would the Coalition see Earth as a threat? Or would they? The Galactic Coalition Council chamber was huge. It was designed to hold representatives from 43 different species. Today it was packed with more people than usual. Ambassadors and military advisors filled every available space. The topic they were discussing was humanity. Captain Daejung stood at the central podium. He had been called to talk about his encounter with the Prometheus. Behind him, holographic displays showed the sensor data from the battle with the Krellick raiders. The recording played over and over for all the dignitaries to see. Ambassador Quan Ho of the Vrexian delegation leaned forward. His face was thoughtful. Captain Dae-jung, let me be clear. You are telling this council that one Earth ship, classified as an engineering support vessel, defeated 3 Krellick raiders in under 1 minute? 47 seconds, Ambassador, Dae-jung corrected. And defeated is not the right word. They disabled the raiders with very little damage. They made sure the crews could be arrested and brought to justice. It was the most precise military action I've ever seen. A murmur ran through the chamber. People were whispering to each other. Admiral Jin-soo stepped forward. Captain, in your professional opinion, could the Prometheus have destroyed those raiders? Dae-jung did not hesitate. Without question, Admiral. They chose to disable rather than destroy. The restraint they showed was as impressive as their capability. Ambassador So-jin stood up from her seat. She was Earth's diplomatic representative to the coalition. She was a woman in her 60s with silver hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. Honorable council members, she began. Her voice was calm, but it carried through the whole chamber. I understand the concern these discoveries have caused. I think it is time for Earth to be more open about our capabilities and our intentions. The chamber became completely silent. So-jin turned on her own holographic display. It showed a map of coalition space with Earth's territory highlighted. It was small, barely a dozen systems. When humanity achieved faster than light travel and met the coalition, we were welcomed as a junior member. We accepted this status gladly. We are newcomers to the galactic stage. We have much to learn from the elder species, but being new does not mean being helpless. She changed the display to show Earth's history. Images of conflicts, natural disasters, and recoveries appeared. Our species has survived countless challenges on our homeworld. Wars, plagues, climate change, near-extinction events. We learned certain lessons from our history. One of those lessons is that hoping for peace while preparing for war is not contradictory. It is wise. Ambassador Quan Ho spoke again. Ambassador So-jin, the Council is not questioning Earth's right to defend itself. We are concerned about the scale of capabilities you have been hiding. How many vessels does Earth have with similar capabilities to the Prometheus? So-jin smiled slightly. All of them, Ambassador. Every ship in our engineering corps, every survey vessel, every colony transport. We do not build dedicated warships because we do not believe in them, but we do not build defenseless ships either. The murmur that followed was much louder this time. People were shocked. Admiral Jin-soo raised his hand for silence. Ambassador, you are describing a fleet that might match or exceed the military capabilities of species that have been in space for thousands of years. Surely you can understand the coalition's concern. I do understand, So-jin replied, which is why I'm here to make an offer. Earth would like to propose a technology exchange program with the coalition. We will share our innovations in defensive systems, engine efficiency, and engineering techniques. In return, we would like access to coalition advances in medical technology, environmental restoration, and cultural archives. She paused to let that sink in. Additionally, Earth's engineering corps would like to expand our repair and support operations throughout coalition space. We have found that we are good at fixing things. There are many ships out there that could use our help. We propose establishing repair stations in each major sector, staffed by human engineers working with coalition personnel. Ambassador Quan Ho's expression changed from concern to interest. You would share your technology freely? Not freely, but fairly, So-jin corrected. We believe in equal exchange. But yes, we are willing to teach coalition engineers our methods. We believe a stronger coalition benefits everyone, including Earth. And what does Earth want in return, besides the medical and environmental technology you mentioned? Admiral Jin-soo asked. So-jin's expression became serious. Respect, Admiral. Recognition that while we may be young in galactic terms, we are not children to be looked down on, or potential threats to be feared. We want to be partners in the coalition, contributing our strengths and learning from yours. The chamber erupted in discussion. Everyone was talking at once. Captain Dae-jung watched as the various ambassadors debated among themselves. Finally, Ambassador Quan Ho called for order. Ambassador So-jin, the Vrexian delegation, would like to propose a trial program. Allow Earth to establish one repair station in Vrexian space. If it proves successful and beneficial, we can expand from there. Additionally, we propose a joint military exercise between Earth forces and coalition fleets, not as a test but as a demonstration of cooperation. So Jin nodded. The Terran Union accepts these terms. We look forward to demonstrating what humanity can offer as a full partner in the coalition. As the meeting ended, Captain Daijung was approached by Ambassador So Jin. Captain, I wanted to thank you personally. Your fair and accurate testimony helped very much. I simply told the truth, Ambassador, Daijung replied. The Prometheus and her crew saved my ship and my crew. They showed skill, restraint, and generosity. The coalition should recognize those qualities, So Jin smiled. Between you and me, Captain, we were never trying to hide our capabilities. We just did not feel the need to advertise them. Humans have a saying, speak softly and carry a big stick. We prefer to let our actions speak for us. And now the coalition has seen your actions, Daijung observed. Yes, Sojin agreed. Now comes the interesting part. Turning suspicion into partnership. Turning concern into cooperation. It will not be easy, but humans have never been afraid of hard work. 6 weeks later, the first Earth Engineering Corps station opened in Vrexian space. Within days, it was handling repair requests from ships throughout the sector. The engineers were efficient, friendly, and true to their word. They not only fixed problems but often left ships running better than before. Ship captains who visited the station were amazed. A repair that would normally take a week was done in 2 days. An engine that had been running at 80% efficiency was returned running at 95%. And the human engineers were always happy to explain what they did and teach others. The promised joint military exercise took place in a remote system. It was carefully watched by coalition observers. The human ships performed maneuvers that left experienced military officers shaking their heads in disbelief. But more importantly, they demonstrated how well they could work with coalition forces. They integrated seamlessly into combined fleet actions. Captain Daijung had been reassigned to work as a liaison with Earth forces. He found himself aboard the Prometheus once again. Commander Yunji greeted him warmly and handed him a cup of coffee. Welcome back, Captain. I hear your ship is running beautifully. Like a dream, Daijung confirmed. Chief Engineer Taemin asks about your crew's modifications at least once a week. I think he has become a human technology enthusiast, Yunji laughed. We get that a lot. Once people see what is possible, they start thinking differently about engineering problems. That is the real gift we are sharing. Not just the technology, but the mindset behind it. The mindset? Daijung asked. The belief that there is always a better way, that good enough is not good enough if you can make it excellent, that every problem is just a puzzle waiting to be solved. It is very human, but we think it could be very coalition too. As they stood on the Prometheus's bridge, watching ships from a dozen different species working together in the exercise, Daijung realized something. Humanity had not just brought technology to the coalition. They had brought something more valuable, optimism. The belief that tomorrow could be better than today if you were willing to work for it. Word about the repair station spread quickly. Other sectors requested their own stations. Other species approached Earth about technology exchanges. The Vrexian fleet started updating their entire engineering division with human-designed equipment. Repair times were cut in half across their whole fleet. More importantly, attitudes were changing. The initial fear and suspicion about Earth's capabilities were being replaced by excitement about cooperation. Species that had been rivals for centuries found common ground in their shared interest in human innovation, with Vrexian technicians sharing knowledge and learning from each other. A Vrexian would explain theoretical principles, and a human would find practical applications nobody had thought of before. He found Daijung there, observing the same scene. Captain, I owe you an apology. When you first reported the Prometheus's capabilities, I was concerned about a threat. I failed to see the opportunity. Daijung shook his head. Your caution was understandable, Admiral. New capabilities always raise questi. 6 months had passed since the Prometheus rescued the stellar harmony. The galaxy looked different now. Earth's engineering core stations had spread throughout coalition space. They became hubs not just for repairs but for innovation and friendship. Human engineers worked alongside their alien friends, sharing knowledge equally. Captain Daijung now commanded a new ship called the Stellar Unity. It was built as a joint project between humans and Vrexians. The ship combined the best technology from both species. Vrexian elegance met human innovation. Today he was bringing his ship to something special, the opening of the Coalition's first Joint Defense Academy. The academy was located on a neutral station in the border regions. As the stellar Unity docked, Daejung was met by a familiar face. Commander Yoonji had been promoted to admiral. She smiled as she greeted him. "Captain Daejung, wonderful to see you again. Your new ship is impressive. I see Taemin finally got to use some of our engine designs," Daejung laughed.
He is like a child in a candy store.
"Every time your engineers share a new technique, he finds 5 ways to use it. The unity is the result of his enthusiasm and your crew's patience." They walked together through the station's corridors. Around them, students from dozens of different species trained together. They were learning not just tactics and technology, but how to work as a unified force despite their differences. "You know," Yoonji said, "when we first joined the coalition, some people back on Earth worried we would lose our identity, that we would become just another small part of a big galactic machine. Instead, we found that sharing our way of thinking made us more ourselves, not less. And the coalition is better for it," Daejung agreed. "Crime in the outer sectors is down 60% since your engineering core station started operating. Pirates think twice before attacking ships now. They know there might be a harmless engineering vessel nearby." Yoonji grinned. "The best defense is the one you never have to use. Though I admit it is satisfying when raiders realize their mistake. Just last week, a group tried to attack a convoy near Gamma Station. The Galileo, one of our science vessels, happened to be doing research nearby. Let me guess. The raiders are now regretting their career choices," Daejung said. "They are waiting for trial and thinking about new jobs, yes," Yoonji confirmed. "But we did not even have to fire a shot. The Galileo just powered up its defensive systems and opened a communication channel. One of the pirates recognized the ship type and convinced the others to surrender immediately. Apparently, we are developing a reputation." They reached the Academy's main auditorium. The huge space was filled with important people, military officers, and the first class of Academy students. Ambassador Sojin stood at the podium ready to speak. "Distinguished guests," Sojin began, "today marks a new chapter in Coalition history. This academy represents our shared commitment to cooperation, innovation, and mutual defense. Here, the next generation of Coalition officers will learn not just how to fight, but why we fight. To protect peace, preserve freedom, and ensure that all species can thrive in the galaxy we share." She pointed to a group of instructors standing nearby. They were a mix of humans and aliens, all wearing the Academy's new uniform. These instructors come from 15 different species, including Earth. They bring different perspectives, unique experiences, and a common goal: to train officers who can think creatively, act decisively, and always remember that our strength lies in our unity. Among the instructors, Daejung saw Chief Engineer Tae-ho. He had been recruited to teach advanced propulsion systems. The man still had his coffee mug, and several students were looking at it with curiosity. After the ceremony, there was a reception. Daejung found himself talking with officers from across the coalition. Admiral Jin-soo approached him, looking much more relaxed than during that tense council meeting months ago. "Captain Daejung, I owe you an apology. When you first reported the Prometheus's capabilities, I was worried about a potential threat. I failed to see the opportunity." Daejung shook his head. "Your caution was understandable, Admiral. New capabilities always raise questions. What matters is that we found the right answers. Have you heard the latest? 3 more species have asked Earth about technology exchanges. And the Vrexian fleet is updating their entire engineering division with human-designed equipment. Ambassador Kwanho told me their repair times have been cut in half. Humanity has a talent for making things work better," Daejung said. "But I think their real gift is making others believe they can do the same. Every engineer who works with them starts thinking differently about problems." Across the room, Tae-ho was showing something to a group of interested students using a holographic display. He used animated hand gestures as he explained. The students represented 6 different species. They listened carefully. When he finished, they started talking excitedly, already thinking of ways to use what they learned. Science Officer Bo-ra had transferred to the Academy as a research liaison. She joined Daejung and Jin-soo. "Gentlemen, you should see what is happening in the engineering labs. We have Vrexian students teaching human students about quantum theory. At the same time, human instructors show them how to apply it in unexpected ways. Yesterday, a mixed team designed a new shield configuration that is 30% more efficient than anything we currently use." "In one day?" Jin-soo asked, amazed. That is what happens when you combine different ways of thinking, Bora explained. The Vrexian students understand the theory perfectly, but they work methodically. The human students bring this creative chaos. Together, they achieve things neither could do alone. Later that evening, Dae-jung found himself on an observation deck with Admiral Yoonji. They looked out at the stars. Ships from throughout the coalition moved through space around the station, human vessels with their distinctive multi-purpose designs, sleek Vrexian cruisers, bulky cargo haulers from many different species. You know what I find most remarkable? Dae-jung said. 6 months ago, my crew and I were stranded and desperate. We sent out a distress call expecting days of waiting, maybe weeks. Instead, we got rescued by a species we had underestimated. We got upgraded by engineers who saw potential where we saw only damage. We got protected by a ship that should not have existed according to our understanding of Earth's capabilities. And now? Yoonji asked. Now I command a ship built by 2 species working together. I visit an academy training the next generation of coalition officers. I see daily evidence that our galaxy is becoming more united, more innovative, and more capable. All because humanity decided to share not just their technology, but their way of thinking. Yoonji smiled. We did not set out to change the coalition. We just wanted to help fix a broken ship. But I suppose that is very human. We see something that needs fixing and we cannot help but fix it. And maybe improve it a little while we are at it. A little? Dae-jung laughed. Admiral, my quantum drive runs 30% faster than it was designed to. That is not a little improvement. Well, Yoonji said with a grin, we did say we would give you upgrades. A communication alert sounded. Yoonji checked her device and her face became more serious. Captain, we are getting reports of a situation in the Outer Rim. A colony is under attack by a large raider fleet. They are requesting help. How large? Dae-jung asked. 15 ships. Much more than the usual pirate groups. Coalition forces are moving, but the nearest fleet is 8 hours away. And human ships? Dae-jung asked. Yoonji checked her console. 3 engineering corps vessels are close enough. The Prometheus, the Darwin, and the Tesla. We could be there in 2 hours. Dae-jung did not wait. The Stellar Unity will come with you. Between your 3 ships and mine, we should be able to handle 15 raiders. Yoonji smiled. Captain, I think you have been spending too much time around humans. You are starting to sound optimistic. I learned from the best, Dae-jung replied. Besides, I have seen what your engineering vessels can do. 15 raiders? That is barely worth worrying about. As they hurried to their ships, just so you know, we are going to fix their planetary defense systems will not have them vulnerable to another attack. Of course you are, Dae-jung said, laughing. Would I expect anything less? An hour later, 4 ships appeared near the colony under attack. The raiders had been expecting an easy target. Instead, they found themselves facing the Prometheus and her sister ships, along with the Stellar Unity, all flying in perfect formation. Admiral Yoonji opened a communication channel to the raider fleet. Attention hostile vessels. This is Admiral Yoonji of the Earth Engineering Corps. You are attacking a coalition colony. You have one chance to leave peacefully. I strongly recommend you take it. There was a pause. Then raider fleet began turning off their weapons. The raider leader's voice came through the channel. He sounded resigned. We recognize your ship type, Admiral. We surrender. Please do not disable us too efficiently. Some of us would like our ships to still work after this. On the bridge of the Stellar Unity, Hana looked at Dae-jung with wide eyes. Captain, they surrendered without fighting. They just gave up. Dae-jung watched as the raider ships formed up and let themselves be escorted. Word travels fast in the Outer Rim. They knew what would happen if they fought. Humanity. 1 year had passed since the Prometheus rescued the Stellar Harmony. The Galactic Coalition was very different now. Earth's engineering core stations were everywhere in Coalition space. They became centers of innovation and friendship. Human, engineers worked with alien colleagues, sharing knowledge and helping each other learn. The change was visible everywhere. Ships that used to take weeks to repair were fixed in days. Technology that had not improved in decades was suddenly getting better. Most importantly, species that had been suspicious of each other for years were now working together, united by their shared interest in making things better. Captain Dae-jung stood on, looking at the stars. His ship was on patrol in a sector that used tea and pirates had once ruled this area. Now it was peaceful. The presence of human engineering stations and the reputation of their defensive capabilities kept the criminals away. "Captain," Hana said from her station, "we are receiving a distress call. It is from a civilian transport. They say their engine is failing." Daejung smiled. A year ago, this would have been a crisis. Now it was routine. "Set course to intercept. And Hana, contact the nearest human engineering station. Let them know we might need support." "Already done, Captain," Hana replied. "The station says the Darwin is in the area. They will meet us there." As they traveled to help the transport, Daejung thought about how much things had changed. The cooperation between human and coalition forces was now automatic. Everyone knew they could count on each other. When they arrived, the Darwin was already there. The human engineering ship had extended its docking tube to the damaged transport. Through the view screen, Daejung could see human engineers already at work. A familiar voice came through the speakers. "Stellar Unity, good to see you. This is Commander Jiwoo of the Darwin. We have the situation under control, but we could use your sensors to scan for any other ships that might need help in the area." "Understood, Darwin. Running wide-range scans now," Daejung replied. Taemin, still serving as chief engineer on the Stellar Unity, watched the Darwin work with professional appreciation. "Captain, do you remember when we first met human engineers? I was so skeptical. I thought they could not possibly help us. Now I learn something new from them every week." Daejung nodded. "We all underestimated them. We saw a young species and assumed they had little to offer. We were very wrong." 2 hours later, the transport was repaired and on its way. The captain, a grateful merchant from a small colony, sent a message thanking both ships for their help. "Just another day in the new coalition," Bora said. She was still serving as science officer on the Stellar Unity. A year ago, that transport would have been stranded for days. Now they are back on schedule with an upgraded engine. Later that week, Daejung received orders to attend a ceremony at coalition headquarters. When he arrived, he found the main hall filled with dignitaries and officers from across the galaxy. Admiral Yoonji was there, along with Ambassador Sojin and many other familiar faces. The ceremony was to celebrate 1 year of the Human Coalition partnership. Statistics were presented that amazed everyone. Crime was down 65% in protected sectors. Trade had increased by 40%. Scientific cooperation had produced 17 major breakthroughs. Most importantly, diplomatic tensions were at their lowest level in 20 years. Ambassador Kwan Ho of the Vrexian delegation stood to speak. "1 year ago, we were concerned about Earth's hidden capabilities. We worried about their military power. Today, we celebrate what they have given us. Not weapons or threats, but partnership and progress. The humans have shown us that being strong and being kind are not opposites. They are partners." The hall erupted in applause. Daejung found himself standing and clapping along with everyone else. He caught Yoonji's eye across the room and she gave him a small nod and a smile. After the ceremony, Daejung and Yoonji found a quiet corner to talk. "Admiral, congratulations, you and your people have accomplished something remarkable." Yoonji shook her head. "We did not do it alone, Captain. This was always about cooperation. Yes, we brought technology and capability, but the coalition brought wisdom, experience, and willingness to try something new. It took all of us. Still, humanity sparked the change. You showed us what was possible." "We showed you one possibility," Yoonji corrected gently. "But the coalition chose to embrace it. That choice matters more than anything we brought." Admiral Jinsu joined them. He looked happier than Daejung had ever seen him. "Captain Daejung, Admiral Yoonji. I wanted to share some news. The Council has approved funding for 10 more joint defense academies. They will be spread throughout coalition space. We are also establishing a new joint research initiative. 50 human scientists and 50 coalition scientists working together on advanced propulsion research." "That is wonderful news, Admiral," Daejung said. Jinsu smiled. "It gets better. The Council wants to name the first Academy ship after you, Captain. The Daejung will be a training vessel that travels throughout the coalition, teaching cooperation and innovation wherever it goes." Daejung was speechless. He had not expected this honor. "You were there at the beginning," Yoonji said. "You trusted us when others were doubtful. You told the truth about what you saw even when it was uncomfortable. You deserve this recognition." As the celebration continued around them, Daijung thought about the journey that had brought them here. It started with a broken ship and a desperate call for help. It grew into something that changed the entire galaxy. The next day, Daijung visited one of the human engineering stations. He wanted to see for himself how things had developed. What he found exceeded his expectations. The station was busy. Engineers from a dozen species worked together, moving between ships that needed repair and workshops where new designs were being tested. There was laughter. There were heated debates about the best way to solve technical problems. There was coffee. Always coffee. Chief Engineer Tae-ho, who now served as the station's chief technical advisor, greeted Daijung warmly. "Captain, welcome to our little workshop. Let me show you around." As they walked through the station, Tae-ho explained the various projects. A team of Rexian and human engineers were developing a new type of shield that could adapt to different types of weapons. Another group was working on a more efficient power distribution system. In one corner, a young engineer from a species Daijung did not recognize was presenting a revolutionary new idea for faster-than-light communication. "The key," Tae-ho explained, "is that we create an environment where everyone feels free to contribute. We do not care if an idea comes from a human or a Vrexian or anyone else. We only care if it is a good idea." "And you have coffee," Daijung said with a smile. Tae-ho laughed. "Never underestimate the power of good coffee and comfortable chairs. Some of our best breakthroughs happened during coffee breaks when people from different backgrounds just talked about problems in a relaxed way." In one of the workshops, Daijung saw his own chief engineer Tae-min working with a human technician. They were so focused on their work that they did not notice him watching. They were redesigning the Stellar Unity's secondary power systems, trying to squeeze out another 5% efficiency. That evening, as Daijung prepared to return to his ship, he stood on an observation deck looking at the stars. Ambassador Sojin found him there. "Captain Daijung, I hoped I would find you here. I wanted to thank you personally for everything you have done." "Ambassador, I think I should be thanking you and your people. You changed everything." Sojin shook her head. "We provided tools and ideas, but tools are only useful if people choose to use them wisely. The coalition chose wisdom. That is what made the difference." They stood in comfortable silence for a moment, watching ships come and go from the station. "You know what makes me most hopeful?" Sojin said. "It is not the technology or the military strength or even the economic benefits. It is watching young people from different species work together like it is the most natural thing in the world. In 20 years, those young engineers and officers will be the leaders of the coalition, and they will not remember a time when cooperation was unusual. That is humanity's greatest gift," Daijung said. "Not what you built, but what you helped us build together." As Daijung returned to the Stellar Unity, he thought about the future. A year ago, his ship was broken and floating helplessly in space. He sent a distress call, not knowing if anyone would come. The answer came from the youngest, most underestimated species in the coalition. They gave him more than repairs. They gave him upgrades. They gave him protection. They gave him coffee and friendship and a new way of thinking about problems. Most importantly, they gave him hope that the galaxy could be better than it was. And that hope had spread. It was spreading still. Every ship that visited a human engineering station left with more than repairs. They left with ideas, with enthusiasm, with the belief that tomorrow could be better than today. The galaxy was changing. One ship at a time, one repair at a time, one cup of coffee at a time. It was not always fast. It was not always easy. But it was happening. Humanity had come to the stars prepared for anything. They built engineering ships that could fight. They developed technology that surprised everyone. They created systems that worked better than anyone expected. But